More to Marketing. Welcome to More to Marketing, the podcast that explores marketing, product, and everything business. I'm your host, Susan, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive on AI, but on a really interesting topic, specifically how to empower marketers and strategists to actually ignite their creativity. Now, I have a very special guest today. Her name is Bianca, and she is a dynamic marketing strategist and innovation leader. And she has a passion for harnessing cutting-edge technology to drive business growth. Now, with this, she has extensive experience in digital marketing, brand strategy, and creative innovation. And she brings a very unique perspective, particularly on how to use and utilize AI and any other emerging tools that she finds that are very useful to use along this path to make things more magical, more innovative, and really thinking outside the box. And she wants to talk to us today about how we use these tools, particularly for marketers and strategists, to really unlock a new level of creativity and impact. Now, we're going to be doing a practical chat about this, as well as some examples, approaches on how it's being done, but really trying to get around the fear and how to use it smartly to make fantastic decisions that can really amp up your brand, not just for you as a brand owner, but for the business and also for your consumers who want to follow and be a part of something exciting. But welcome, Bianca.
Hi, so nice to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. But before we jump in on our topic, I'd love to know more about you and how you got to where you are right now.
Sure. So I am born and raised in Brazil. I started my career as a journalist. So I worked in radio a little bit and print before I wrote my first book on street food. So I was a food journalist.
Yum.
And I'm a big foodie. I'm currently in New York, which is a great place to be for that. Eventually, I transitioned from journalism, found my way into marketing. I'm sure we'll talk more about that, but I'm currently an associate director of account planning at Supergood. We're an AI native ad agency. I also lead our product development team in thinking about how we use, as you said, AI and how we build tools that actually help us work faster and work more effectively, leveraging AI and technology in general.
Fantastic. And tell us more about the company that you work for and what they're primarily doing with AI right now.
Yeah, so as I said, Supergood is an AI native agency. So we started about 3 or so years ago. That was really before like even GPT was a thing. So we were already trying to figure out best ways to leverage technology to help us doing our day-to-day jobs. But basically, there hadn't been any change in how we operate and how we sort of see the work in a while. And that's the work the agency was tackling. And I think I joined sort of like early 2022. By November, GPT was launched, and I think there was a big unlock for the industry. So a lot started changing since then, and changing really fast, actually, and really change how we operated even internally. We develop our own tools. We have sort of a platform. We like to think about these tools as really a toolbox, and these are power tools that help our team work faster and work more efficiently. And we use them throughout the process. So from strategy to like we use it for audience work and how we put together a briefing, and then getting into production and creation as well. So we really try to explore different ways to use it. And I feel like the coolest thing is that we're building this as we go, as we learn, and as tools evolve. So it's really ever changing, and it's really exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, I'm a huge AI utilizer. Just be really clear for the audience and how I use AI. I use it as an assistant. So I don't use it to do everything. I use it to help me along the way to get things done faster. And I find it an absolutely fantastic little assistant that can run off and find websites I should be going and checking out for a certain topic, or structuring something that I've already written, but then structuring it into a different format for me to utilize in other ways because I've done the original. And I'm finding it making things faster for me I've been reading a lot of articles recently about people stating that AI might be making consumers or users dumber or not utilizing their whole brain anymore. But it's about how you use it. And it's about how you utilize it to help you get to that next level of creativity, next level of creation, next level of content development, or whatever it might be. And I think that's something that if you learn all the different AI tools out there, because they all do different things, they're all a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you understand the queries and how to question it, you can really get some great gold mines out of it, particularly for research. Like
Yeah.
if you've got your safe space, because you've got a paid version and you've got that space locked down,
Mm-hmm.
you can, and you put some of your information into that safe space, it can pull out insights that you may never have thought out or connecting pieces together. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you about how you're using it for the strategic thinking and bringing out fantastic ideas. Because I'm naturally doing it, but someone that teaches others within an agency is better suited to talk to everyone about it. So I love you to share a bit of that journey about how you really started integrating the AI into those strategies.
Yeah. So, as I said, we develop our own tools in-house. So, we are leveraging models that exist out there, and sort of putting them through our framework and figuring out really different ways of working that work best for us and how we can leverage existing tools and pull those tools into that process to make it faster, to make it more efficient, to make it better for people working in it, and
Mm.
to have better work coming out of that. We actually just did a big round of sort of a rework on our strategy engine, and it's a really cool tool that we have access to where you have a lot of what's been things that taught about in marketing effectiveness, advertising effectiveness, and all of that sort of academic thinking that gets baked into an algorithm. So you can do this alone, or we can do this with clients as a workshop, and you go through a couple of key questions. And these are questions that like everybody knows and everybody asks themselves or their clients in a traditional process. But the way we tackle those questions is really different. Asking the same questions and working with results that help us through that algorithm that we have running in the back. It's a proprietary algorithm that really aligns those responses against known best practices in advertising and helps us surface useful strategies or strategic paths that that brand could go down to and present to you options and say, this could be great for so and so, and sort of like role play a little bit and think through options that you can then discuss with your clients and think through. It helps us get a quick start from those options, those like strategic ways in. It helps you get a head start on a brief and start thinking like, how would you actually execute this? What are options and fun things you can do if you go down that path? Oh, you want to go down a different path? That's cool. Here's a head start on how would that go. And it's a really interesting way to really get a thinking partner as you're going through this process. Like writing a brief, writing a brand strategy down, presenting that to clients it can be solitary at times, like you're thinking and you're like, oh, I don't know, like this is uh having that tool, I find helps you better like interact with your clients and play out different scenarios, even in your own head, and see like where that can take you. It's really just exciting to do. So that was like an example of an actual like strat tool that I have access to. We have access to other tools that help us in the strategy process as well. But I think you touched on what's really the most interesting aspect of all of this, which is using AI to work with you as an assistant, as a partner, and not using it to do work for you. It's a pretty big difference. And I think like when you use it as a partner and when you question it and say like, what else can this help me do? That's where you get the coolest things out of it.
And no human, no matter how smart they are, can remember everything in theories, everything from journal articles, everything from research. And that's where it
That
helps to synthesize info.
100%. And that is where it adds a lot of value because, for example, our strategy engine tool is not going to forget to consider a path. It's not going to say, well, I really have been wanting to do a celebrity strat for a while, so let's maybe lean this way. No, it will actually take the data and it will analyze and see opportunities that you may miss. And it's going to present you with options. And the important thing is that it will never make the decision for you. It will give you options to, or starting points where you can then get in and work with and really go down on.
And I think that's the key part there is it's a starting point for idea generation. Things that you
Mm,
may not have thought of that you can then take away and sense check. But the thing that
yeah.
I love so much about it and about your solutions that you have there, they're constantly being updated with new data, constantly.
Yes.
So that means that they're always going to be looking for new trends, new opportunities, new different ways to utilize the data that you might not have thought of yet because you weren't aware that a new technology, like a new, might be a new influencer platform coming out, and it's all of a sudden overnight just become the hottest thing there is. It will
Mm-hmm.
pick up on all of those things out there if that's what it's supposed to be doing.
Yep. Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest problems is a lot of people keep thinking that AI might stifle creativity because it's
Mm-hmm.
talking to a box, in effect, like a computer is a box. But what's your take on how AI can actually enhance the creative process?
Yeah, I think it's easy to criticize it, to be afraid of it, and I think it's more that people are afraid of change than
Mm.
people are afraid of AI itself. I think that's a normal reaction. Our take is that change is good and change is needed. So
Well,
that's sort of
consumers always
where
change, don't they?
100%. And that's like from an agency, I think that's where we're coming from is like, this is time for change. We're here to embrace it. We're excited about it. It was about time. So from an agency perspective, I feel like that's where we're coming from. But I think, like I said, it's normal to be afraid of it. Rise of television made people think that movies were going to go away.
Mm.
We know that that did not happen, right? And I think same way with AI, like watching TV can be a great form of entertainment, can be awesome and can teach you things, help you stay informed, and that's really cool. And if you binge watch it, it can be harmful. Not to say I don't do that sometimes. I
Hey, I think
think,
everyone's done that at some point.
right? I feel like with like AI and creativity is the same thing. And to the point we were chatting about earlier is not um it's not about delegating it to you and thinking it's going to be creative as a person and take over to work. I think that is definitely not the goal. I think humans are inherently creative, not to say that every single person exercises those muscles and is creative, but we have the capacity for that. And the cool thing about AI, I think, is helping you flex those muscles and actually get into that and lean into your creativity. So using it to amplify your ideas and to play out scenarios and like help you um, really think things through, like visualize your ideas, help
Mm.
you prototype things. Like now, all of that is more accessible to more people. You don't need to be like a coding expert now to like make something like you thought about this great idea. You can then find the right tools to make that idea, like to bring that idea to life and see what that would look like. It helps ideas live and then maybe die faster because it's like, oh, okay, I tested that out. It's not really working as I expected. Like maybe that's not the path. And it that in itself, I think, is a really great. It's a great thing. Like it reminds me of times when like blogging became like a thing, and suddenly people that wanted to write didn't need to be published to be authors. They could start a blog and do it themselves. To me, AI is a little bit of that.
Mm.
And then one of the ways in which I think is very helpful for me when I'm using it as a partner is to sort of challenge my thinking. We are all in our worlds. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. And that is that's the point of view that we bring to everything that we do. And I think AI allows us to challenge those echo chambers that we live within and really like help us extend our thoughts or poke holes in our ideas and sort of look at things from different perspectives. We're able to do that much easier with AI. And as a strategist, that is invaluable.
Mm. I think even adding to that from a marketer's point of view, if you've got this awesome product, you're wanting to go to a new market, a new culture, you can actually throw that into your tool and say, I am a US brand, I'm this color, I've got this type of logo, whatever it is. I'm now wanting to enter the Japanese market. Can you let me know the pros and cons, the challenges, the opportunities about my brand and my product within there, even the imagery of it? And it will come back and help you understand cultural sensitivity in a way that you might not be able to quickly get your head around without using a localized agency. It gives you that head start to know your challenges, know your opportunities quicker.
Yes. It's funny that you bring that up because it is something that we were really able to unlock with one of our other tools. We have an audience tool that helps us do just that. And I think sensitivity is a good word because you're using AI personas, right? It's an AI agent that you're having a conversation with. But the big difference of using tools like that is that they're feeding off of real data. So in our tool, for example, it is backed by YouGov data. So you have real respondents across all of the US or any other market that you may want to tap into. And you have that data backing up an AI agent that you can have a conversation with. So essentially what you're doing is giving strategists or other marketers, people that work with brands, a way to converse with a data stack. So instead of looking at numbers on a spreadsheet and trying to make sense of it, you can have a conversation with that data in form of an AI person, which is not a real person, but you're accessing the data in a different format that is more conducive to insights and to understanding what does that mean when you're looking at it together from the perspective of somebody. And it's just a really cool way to get to insights and to make all of that more available to more people within the agency, essentially.
And I love your point earlier about the accessibility point, where you no longer have to be a coder. If it now really understands modern language, so you can put in a question that you would ask your teammate in your brief. You just ask your AI agent, and majority of the time, it will understand what you're asking for because that's how it's been created and built, which is fantastic. It really does eliminate a lot of the I suppose negativity when it comes to AI about, oh, is it going to understand me? Is it going to get what I'm asking it? It doesn't eliminate jobs because we're always going to need sense checking of the data, making sure the data has got hygiene, making sure it's all safe, et cetera, et cetera. But it just means that it's got that accessibility to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it doesn't really replace taste. It doesn't replace judgment. But it fuel those aspects that you were mentioning of the work. So it definitely, I would say, particularly as those tools get more broadly distributed and more accessible to other people, it makes it easier for more people to participate.
And I love, like, everyone knows at the moment that the quality of a lot of the free versions of these AI tools out in the world, the quality is only as good as the input. So the World Wide Web data isn't the best of quality, which is what it pulls from. And then people are adding in some data that isn't the best quality into the free version. But that's where the paid version or the proprietary ones that you get through companies like yourself, that data is controlled. So therefore, it's got that higher quality piece too, which gets rid of some of those challenges of potential hallucinations and other things that go along with it. But what other challenges have you seen that you found interesting and you didn't expect while going down this AI journey?
I think you're absolutely right in that what you get is what you put into it. And I think, again, as with any tools, it's about how you wield it, right? How you use it. Even to your point of the hallucinations, like if you're working within creativity, hallucination can be a plus. It really
Very
depends
much
on
so.
what are you trying to do, what are you trying to accomplish, and those are things that people are the ones capable of doing, of judging, of understanding the problem and how you're going to get to the solution, which makes really interesting to work with these tools to get to different results. I think my biggest challenge right now is keeping up with things because it has been very fast paced and there's a lot happening. There are a lot of different tools and tools using different models or same models to get to different results. And it's just an interesting world to navigate right now. I think, as I said, like particularly when you're building something specific, and you have all of these different models available to you, like it's important to get in there and test and understand what model's better for what task you're trying to accomplish, like all of that. And it's challenging to keep up and to do all of this because you are learning as you go and building as you learn with the information available. So things will change. So as I said, when I started at Supergood, this was pre-GPT. GPT came along and changed a lot of how we were doing things. And that sort of dynamic keeps happening, which I particularly love. But like a great example with this is our AI audiences. So I was saying they're backed by data. We're able to have these conversations with these AI models, and we use them for things like AI testing, for example. So we're working on a creative concept, and this can be at any phase. So we can be on like ideation phase, or like we have a first pass and we want to get a take on like how the copy is reading, or at whatever stage it is, we can use these AI models to test work. And it was so that until a while back, we were only able to test copy or visuals. And well, at first, just copy. So what I would do is that I will try to as soon as you were able to upload images, you would say, hey, can you describe this image to me as a visually impaired person, for example, so I can understand what the AI is looking at, because it's not really seeing things. It's like coding that. And I would want to have an understanding of what it is like watching, right? Then more recently, AIs are now able to watch video. So like, okay, great. Now we don't need to just work with a script of an ad and showing it storyboards. We can actually show it a full video and it will react to it. That means that our developers have to do a lot of work to like update our tools constantly and like be very on top of what's out, which we try to do always. But that's what's so interesting about the work and having that work happening right now where everything is really changing.
I think that's really neat and a great example as well of showing the steps, because it's no different to marketing in general, where it started off in newspapers,
Yep.
then it moved print medium, so then it moved to TV, and now it's moved to web and influencers. So everything has that evolution piece, but all pieces can still be utilized. And I love that you can then ask your AI agent to put all three together for you and then go, who is the complete audience for all three of these? Looking at your script versus the image versus the video. And then it can give you more information out of that as well that you might not have seen.
Yeah.
Very powerful. I love that. Now, AI is one of those funny things where how do you use it? What do you do with it? But I suppose it comes back down straight down to skills. So, what skills do you think a marketer needs, or the most important skills to be able to really get the most out of AI?
Mhm. So that's a question that I get, like I've heard it before, and it's really, as you were saying, it's a new world we're all trying to navigate. So like, what do you need to learn? And the number one skill that I like to to talk about always is prompting,
Mm,
because I feel like to know how to write a prompt, it has like a combination of technical and non-technical skills. So it has um, hard skills embedded in it, it has soft skills embedded in it, and to do it well, it will get you ahead and it will get you what you're trying to get out of it, right? So in terms of technical skills, there are best practices, and that's information you can, it's very accessible. You can very easily get that information online. What are prompting best practices? What are um, things that are might be a little more advanced, like you can talk about like chain of thought prompting, or like other ways of prompt something to get you what you're looking for. And then you get the non-technical skills, which are writing good prompts that has to do with being very clear about what you're looking for, knowing what good looks like, um, problem solving, being creative. Like you have a problem, you have a goal in mind. How are you going to tell this tool to get you there? So there's a lot of that in prompting as well, which I find very interesting. And then you have those sort of two sets of skills, and you combine that with a subject matter expertise, whatever it is that your uh, specific area of work is within, or a passion that you have. And you combine all of that, and that's where you see amazing things getting built, and people using these tools to really make amazing things come to life, which is pretty cool to watch. There's a really cool example that I came across a couple of weeks ago, which was it was on LinkedIn, so I don't remember who did this, but it was this person that made a custom GPT, and it was an agent that would explain anything to you using the plot of Broadway musicals, which I'm a fan of. So it would be this amazing thing where you can ask it anything, and the response is going to come in context of something that this person was absolutely passionate about. And I
yeah.
just loved seeing that come to life.
Yeah, that's really cute. I haven't seen that one actually. Like for me, uh, one of the things that I love to use my AI for is when I'm doing research on my guests. So, like for yourself. So, I will give it the LinkedIn. I will give it if there's a website as well, if that individual happens to have a website. And then I will just as if I was talking to it, because you can do audio now with AIs, but I would write and say, hey, I'm a podcaster of More Marketing, so it can look me up because my podcast is public and it knows me because I've got my history already. So easy. I have got a podcast guest called Bianca coming on. Here is her URL. Here is her website, blah, blah, blah. Our topic is this. Can you provide me questions that are interesting to talk about? And I'll say, give me 20 questions, give me 50 questions. And it's that thought starter process where I'm not a subject expert on Bianca. I don't know all the things you've spoken about. I don't know every blog you've ever written. I don't know every job you've ever worked for and what it is. I don't know every single client that you've had at your company, but it can find all that for me. And then it can contextualize it really fast and give me the themes and then give me 20, 100 questions for me to go through and then pick out which ones that I think will resonate best and flow best. Because I do that myself. I don't let it do any of that. I just let it help and prompt me so that I can get the best type of podcast I can with my guest
Yep.
because I've gone out and done research and it's made it faster for me. And that's one of the things that I really love about it is how I talk to my because I use Perplexity. How I've got mine set up is I can just put it in like a brief, just like if I was sending it to a team member or to an agency, and that's how I do my prompts because I find that because I am marketing trained, um, I have that way of how do you brief it into an agency, and that's how I
Mhm.
chunk it down. So, like I said, I'm looking for questions for this particular podcast, so it can look up my podcast history. This is my guest, finds you, knows the topic, finds the questions for me. And that means that the prompt is really nice and clean. And
Yeah.
that's where marketers can use their existing skills of briefing to get a really good prompt as well to start with, as well as using some of those best practices that you spoke about too.
100%. That's such a good analogy. It's really about how you're asking for things, and the clearer you are, the better the response you're going to get. So it works just like people do.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you're going to an agency that costs a lot of money, if you get your brief wrong, that's time and money. So you should be thinking the same way when you're prompting your chat GPT or whatever you use, because again, that's just wasting time, not including environmental impacts, etc. But that's
Mhm.
just wasting a huge amount of time that you wouldn't want to do if it was a paid agency. See, I think that's a mind shift for a lot of people as well, and strategists is yes, you can do short little prompts, but think about it that you are talking to someone you want to get the right answer from almost straight away. So put the effort in to get the result you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I think proprietary prompts are a big part of our platform and the tools that we use. And some of the prompts get to be really, really big.
Mm,
And it's interesting because we're adding a lot of context and examples and what good looks like and like being hyper specific, which is how we get to the results faster, right?
mm.
So you really want to get it right. So we do a lot of prompting work.
Oh, you need to. But I want to know what really excites you about this area, this intersection of the AI and creativity for marketing. Because you've come from journalism, you've gone into marketing, you're now in the AI marketing space, if that is the thing. I'm coining that term. What excites you?
Yeah, I think it's the possibility. I think that feeling of um, just the moment in which we're living right now, with everything happening all at once and things evolving so fast. I think AI just provides anybody with so many possibilities. It's like, I don't know. I love challenges. I love to solve problems. And it feels like now I just have this very exciting set of tools. And you're telling me, okay, now go. How are you going to solve this? And it just gives me a lot more possibilities. And I feel like that's what's really exciting about this.
I think adding to that, not talking about you, but I think also for you, it's about unlocking the next evolution of marketing. How can you get that cut through in such a busy marketing area where everyone's just been bombarded? I think that's part of that challenge for you is you can hopefully even potentially unlock that in a magical way.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely part of it. I think, um, like I said, a big part of this is helping us move faster, but it's really about how can you get these specific brand problems, these specific brand goals. What is a new way that you can go about this? That is, yes, probably faster, but also more effective. You
Mm.
know, it's actually going to get the job done in a better way, in an easier way, in a more interesting way, and it's cool for everybody involved. I think a big differentiator of what we're doing is that when we think about these tools, we're not only grabbing what's existing and putting it in use or in favor of marketing. We are developing the tools based on the needs that we have and the goals that we have. And people involved in the making of these tools know what good looks like. They have been in the industry and they understand the work. because if you want to change something, it's important for you to understand what are you changing? What are you trying to get out of it, you know? So I feel like that's really exciting. Like I said, it's just a very interesting moment to be working in marketing
Definitely.
because things are changing so fast and it's really cool to be a part of it.
I completely agree. Now, I've loved our conversation, but I have a final question I ask everyone. Let's see what your answer is going to be. You can have multiple personalities in this one, but what
Okay.
brand, any brand in the world, best represents you and why?
Okay. I feel like I could use GPT to answer this, and I would be interested to see the
Some people
response,
have.
knowing what they know about me. So maybe I'll run that on the side, but I'll just also answer. Um, I think any brand, I think I would say um, Havaianas because it's a Brazilian brand,
Mhm.
but you can find it pretty much anywhere in the world. I think they are so flexible. You can wear them in any different place for any different occasion. It's a little fun and quirky.
Yep.
So I would say maybe that one. Let's see
I
what
like it.
GPT said it based on what it knows about me,
Yep.
because it knows a lot about me. Oh, it said I would be Lego.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Creativity
okay.
is probably why.
Yeah, it says it's modular and versatile, powered by imagination,
Like
collaborative
it.
by design. I absolutely love it.
That's not, it did a good job. I think that did a really good job.
Yep.
Well, I am going to now just do a quick wrap up of what we've been talking about because I love doing that. So just bear with me for just a couple of minutes. So today we're talking about how we could actually amplify marketing and strategy by using AI and how we could go about it. And probably the biggest thing to understand is AI, used the right way, makes things more accessible, makes things faster, and it all comes down to the data going in. So I'm just going to call it out straight away. Highly recommend paid versions over free versions because then you can control it a bit better, but that's just me, or using proprietary going out to companies like we've talked about today. But when it comes to marketing and strategy, using AI, it really helps you understand and unlock other opportunities that you may not have noticed or seen. It can identify patterns with algorithms and other pieces like that in it to actually help you see new opportunities in ways that you never would have considered testing before. And unlike humans, it won't forget if you put everything into its repository. It will always remember to go back and pull out that research or remember the steps it needs to go through. And unlike humans, sometimes you might skip a step because, like, I don't need that. It won't. It will be structured, it will be rigid, but because of your prompts, it can be creative. And that's probably one of the biggest things to know about is prompts. Prompts are what help you get the most out of your AI. Now, for me, I like to treat my AI as if it's a human and I'm doing a human brief as if I was going to an agency because time is money, money's time, etc. But if you're going to an agency, you're paying for their time. And when you're working with an AI, you should treat it the same because you want to get the responses quickly and fast, but correctly. So put your time and effort into the prompts and learn the best practices and ensure to add subject expertise into it too so it knows context because it's only as good as the prompt that you do and the information that you give it. But it can really help unlock for challenges. It has strategic thinking that you can put into it. It also can understand sensitivities in ways that you don't when you're thinking about cross cultural pollination or going into other different kinds of geographical locations as well. And using it smartly and building out your agents, you can actually get some amazing insights to come out of it for reporting and decision making because you can literally ask it to give you options. And some of those options might not even be ideas that your team has put up in a whiteboard session. So it can really unlock that creativity in such a different way. And I love how Bianca said, use it as like a new muscle that you're flexing. Flex it more so you can get more out of it. And that can amplify your idea and give you different scenarios and different things to prototype that you've never done before. Now, AI shouldn't be something that people are afraid of. It's something to embrace and utilize. And that's where, if you have you already got your marketing skills, utilize those as the prompts. Do some fun testings. Go and see how it goes when you put in different prompts for different types of campaigns, see what it comes back with. There is so much magic that you can do with AI by putting information in there, that your data analysts and other team members can then put it in there and get results faster for you, which means you can move faster and get better results and be more relevant to the audience and have fun at the same time with different quirky ideas in some cases. But I highly recommend unlocking it in this way, as we've talked about today, because it can really, really unlock that magic that you want to have in marketing and stand out so you have the best results possible in the fastest way and hopefully the cheapest way too. What else would you like to add, Bianca?
I'm sure if you would add this at this point, or you can go back. I think just hearing to what you were saying in the wrap up made me think of the new possibilities and the different things you can do. You were talking about the sensibilities, and it made me think about how this can be really beneficial for research. We were talking about AI audiences, right? And I explained to you how this is based on data for individuals. So it's real person, not personal data, but data from real people. And the way we use it for research, you can ask this AI persona questions that you would never be able to ask another person because of sensitivities, right? So when you're doing research, there are topics that are too hard to talk about. And this allows you to dig deeper into anything, really, which is, as I said, really helpful for insights and anything else.
Completely agree. I completely agree with that. And that's why it's so great. As you said, one of the other key points, I should have added in that, I'll say it now, is that you can talk to the data. So instead of having to know the numbers, look through it, try and work out what column goes with what column, how to connect them, blah, 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 you can actually just ask it to look at it for you and tell you. And that is so powerful, particularly saving time. But I have loved our conversation today. Thank you so much. Now, how can everyone follow you? Tell us how.
Probably best place would be LinkedIn. Bianca Chaer at LinkedIn, Chaer.
Perfect. I'll make sure that is in the show notes for everyone. And everyone else, don't forget to follow More to Marketing to hear about some more fabulous guests in the future. More to Marketing.